system, communalism. Communalism is an ancient political system of collective ownership of property. The property is usually land which is collectively owned by the community and satisfy the collective needs of all. It may be collective owners of projects, and private ownership of property is not allowed. Communalism is still in practice in some part of Africa and Asia, example India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. In a communal community, members pursue a common goal collectively, and property like land are owned collectively and shared among members on equal basis. This system existed mostly in the pre-colonial era. So when we look at communalism, it is an ancient political system. That is, it is not much being practiced today, but in before the coming of the colonial rule, before the coming of the white man to Africa, the Europeans, this was a type of political or economic system that was being practiced, and it was based on land tenure system. That is a collective ownership of property. The land is collectively owned by the community, and all of them also work towards satisfying the collective needs of everybody. So in a communal system, nobody owns land. In other words, there is no private ownership of land. So communalism is still in practice in some Africa, but it is not much common as it used to be in ancient political system. Then of course, in a communal community, what happened? The members try to pursue a common goal collectively. Everybody is working towards the development of the community. Everybody is working towards the achievement of the community, and therefore all of them work on equal basis. That is what we refer to as communalism. So we are also going to discuss another form of government, which is feudalism, which is also based on land tenure system. It's a political system that is based on land tenure system. But feudalism, it is more based on individual ownership of land. That was more practiced in Europe. But when you talk about communalism, it talks about a collective ownership of land. So also let's try to examine the features of communalism. What are the features of communalism? The features include: 1. The community owns the means of production and distributions of goods and services. That is what happens in a communal system. Also, there is absence of classes. The society has no class of people. As in the case of capitalism, we don't have stratification of society, the middle, lower class. No, everybody is equal in the community. And in as much as everybody is equal, everybody works towards the development of that community. Then third, the means of exchange is the barter system. In a communal system that was practiced in ancient Africa, in pre-colonial Africa, the medium of exchange is a barter system, an exchange of goods for another goods. For instance, if you have a salt and I'm in need of salt from you, I have, let's say for instance, soap. I'll give you soap, in return you give me salt. So their means of exchange is a barter system. Also, there is adequate distribution of goods and services among the people in the community. It also discourages members from pursuing individual objectives or goals. There is also the existence of brother-keeper relationship as they go to one another in time of need. So in a communal system, if the entire village is disturbed, you've disturbed everybody. If one person is disturbed, the entire village is disturbed. That is how it operates in a communal system. Then of course the members of communal society share common cultural identity. Of course, there is no personal ownership of land. There is collective ownership of property, and also communalism is a unifying factor of different families. So these are some of the features of communalism. Then we look at communism is another forms of government or a political system. So communism is an economic or political system of government in which the state controls completely the means of production and distribution. So communism is the highest stage of socialism. Individual ownership of property is abolished in a state. the state provides for all according to their needs and ability. Communism was emancipated by Karl Marx and Lenin through their book titled Communist. So you have countries like Russia, China, Hungary, Cuba are practicing advanced socialism, but so far to reach communist stage. So when you talk about communism, it's similar to socialism, but communism is the highest form of socialism, because here the state completely abolish, completely eradicate private ownership of property, and in fact the state provide for all according to their needs and ability. So yet still it is very difficult to have countries who have to a very large extent, 100%, to practice a communist system, even though there are countries who have got to the advanced stage, but yet they are to reach to the communist stage itself. So let's look at the features of communism. The following are the basic features of communism. 1, there is a presence of community ownership. There is also public ownership is also experienced. Then communism is the expectation of workers, class, even they themselves have the mind of capitalists. So even communism, they will be thinking that the state should be providing for everybody, but also have the expectation of a capitalist system that also encourages the production of goods and services to be owned and controlled by private individuals. Then suitable distribution of resources and benefit everybody is another common features. Communism stands for the poor in society. When you look at people like Karl Marx, he was looking at the huge economic exploitation that was ongoing, especially with the capitalist system as an economic and political system. That's why he was one of those propounding fathers of the concept of communism, because the rationale, the aim, the objective of communism is to stand for the poor in the society. It is a system of government whereby the state controls completely the means of productions and distribution of goods and services. Then the motto of communism is work according to your ability and take the benefit according to your need. There is also one party dominance and the use of force in achieving communist goals. In a communist state, there is always the existence of one political party. There is also total ownership of means of production and distribution by the state. There is a centrally planned economy and confiscations private properties without compensations. So the state can even seize private property without compensations, because everything belongs to the state. In a capitalist system, if the states want to embark on certain development, they can compensate the citizen for destroying those property. But in a communist system, that cannot happen. Let's assume if the state want to embark on the construction of a feeder road, they are almost destroying all the houses on the road path and all plantations, and no compensation from the government. But if it is a capitalist system, the state will compensate. But these are some of the features of communism. So now we've looked at the features of communism. So we want to look at the relationship between communism and that of socialism, because as you said, they are almost similar in terms of economic or political system. One, socialism permits existence of the capitalist class and the working class, while communism abolish a classless society. So socialism is not completely saying the production of goods and services should be completely owned and controlled by the state for equitable distribution of resources, even though the means of production of goods and services is owned and controlled by the state, but is also cater for the capitalist system. But whereas communism abolishes a classless society, it is against the stratification of society. Then also socialism is a stage in the transformation of capitalism to communism. Communism is the ultimate stage of socialism. So socialism is a transformation to capitalism, but when you talk about communism, is the highest form of socialism. Then lastly, socialism may be attained by constitutional means, but communism involves violent concentration. In socialism, you